Alright, let's get this party started. Hey YouTube. In this video, I'm just gonna quickly unbox my new phone. I have a video of unboxing my previous phone that I didn't upload. I recorded it just in case I felt like I actually wanted to upload it or do something with it, but I didn't end up using it. If you want to see that, this video has to get 15 likes, okay? You have to get 15 likes, and there has to be at least 3 people in the comment section that say, I would like to see you unbox your previous phone. So actually, what I'm going to do really quickly here is, I'm going to get Jima, and the table has a bunch of random things from other unboxings. Come here, girl. Here. Oh, not as much of it was in frame as I thought, but I'm just going to put Jima right there. Sort of, come on. Right there, she's going to eat a cracker. And I specifically, she's intentional. I took her out, want to spend some time with her, have a special moment. Let's actually, can I pull that in the frame? Thunderbird show car. It's just up here because it's, is that? Oh, phew. It was my dad's, and then he died, and it's kind of moved in with my stuff, so it's kind of mine. But my mom might be like, you know, when you move out, it can be yours kind of a thing. I had to fix the mirror on it. Let's get the show rolling. And so what I'm planning to do, this is just a really quick, it's kind of late. Not super late. Let's see what time it is on my smartwatch. 9:19. So not super late for me. I try to go to bed by 10:30. Usually don't make that. But, yeah, I'm going to show really quickly my previous phones. And what is it? Yeah, I'm going to show my previous phones, say like one quick thing about them, and then unbox my new phone and talk about it. And I recorded a 2-part video of what's on my phone, my current one. I'm going to just redo that. Part of that video on the second part was kind of me saying what I want in a new phone, which I'll talk about in this, but I already have my new phone, so I don't need suggestions from you guys. But if you did want to give me suggestions, I would much appreciate it. Like, when I talk about what phone I would like, what I would like in a phone, give a suggestion. Maybe I haven't heard of that phone. Maybe, now I can't even think of, GSM Arena. Maybe they don't have listed the phone that you would suggest, but seriously, just friendly suggestions. I'm not going to buy another phone after I have. Anyway, let's get started here. So, my first phone was this flip phone right here. Not this exact one, but this was mine. A little bit of story. So, right there, this is the Motorola WX345. I had to look because I've forgotten. There's a number. It's a flip phone. Pop off the back, removable battery. Underneath that, SIM card, SD card slot. It's running some Motorola OS. Has a folder labeled apps and games, but there's only 2 games in there. And one of them is kind of generic because my dad had a flip phone that was meant for elderly people who needed big buttons and a relatively big screen, like so easy to read. And so, yeah, it was kind of generic, but this one is different. It's the game Chicken. It's a game where, like, you will be surprised that you haven't died yet. Even on hard, just letting the game run for an entire, like, the game will probably go for at least a minute before you finally die without doing anything. I might do a video on that, but this is my, this is the first phone that I ever had. It came free with our service provider, Consumer Cellular, which I liked. We've switched because my dad's service plan, he put us on that, my stepdad I should say. But one thing I liked is, it was like, we had not a lot of data, but something like, I don't know, it's like, like you pay for this much, and then when you go over you pay per message, but there's a point where, like, if you go 2 text messages over, or like a minute or 2 of call time over, it's not bad, but you do get to a point where, oh, it's now advantageous for me to buy the next plan, otherwise I'm going to spend more. And you can do that. Once you reach the point where I've used enough minutes over that I would save money if I bought the next set of minutes up for this month, you can do that and you're not charged the overage. There's no overage fees. So on average, for me, on flip phone, my mom had a smartphone, and eventually I upgraded to a smartphone on the same plan. And then my dad had a flip phone, my real dad, and it was kind of limited on some of the minutes, and the text message might have been unlimited with limited data. $40 a month, and that's not per person, that is the final bill. If you looked at our receipt, our bill, you would say $40 for last month. Well, not last month, because we've been off of it for a while, but this is the phone that I had. The one thing I want to say that I find is weird, it has an FM radio. That's one thing I really liked about it, and probably still keep it around to use as an FM radio for emergencies. But the weird thing is that if you played music off of the built-in speaker, it was a little bit too quiet, like MP3 files. But if you played the radio, it was twice, if not 3 times louder than playing MP3 files. You do have to have something plugged in a headphone jack for the antenna. I'm wondering why that is. Is like FM radio just default, like it's streamed at a louder volume than your MP3 files are normally made at? I don't know. One thing I didn't like about it, the other thing I didn't like is the lowest volume level was a little bit too loud for certain things. I should move on to the next phone. But so this one is actually the second one, because I had that, and then I think in between I had this one, and then I moved back to this one, because what happened with mine is I gave it to my mom when we were at duck pond feeding ducks and there were fish, and I was just trying to see if I could catch one with my hands, not to like cook it and eat it. I don't think fishing was allowed there, but just see if I could, and then we go home. And I didn't, but she dropped my phone in the water, and then it actually caused the power button. I didn't think about turning it off and letting it dry out, but I did think about kind of letting it dry out, but it caused the power button to not work. And then like there was something where I kind of needed to restart my phone for something, and I was dumb enough to take the battery out, and then I couldn't turn it back on again. So I took it to bits. So this was my aunt's, and then she got remarried to my uncle, and so so I got this one, and she got a new phone. It was like a slider phone with keyboard, which is nice for her. But yeah, so then somewhere in there I had this phone. This is a phone. This is the K1 Watch phone. I did a video on it. I didn't quite cover everything, but that was back in the day when I thought a phone review would be like going through every single settings menu and just like everything. You have to cover every inch of the phone or you failed. And I didn't script things back then. This video isn't scripted either, but it's impromptu. But it's a watch phone. Had a camera, which doesn't work sadly, otherwise I'd totally use it as a helicopter camera. Had a speaker that actually sounded decent for the time. Charged off of weird... I don't have an actual USB cable with me. I forgot to bring one up. I might and show it when I unbox this. This is the cable for it. It's like 1/8 of an inch shorter than micro USB, and it doesn't have the pins on the bottom, and it's like specific, and you'd have to wait for someone to come from China if you wanted to reorder it. A few Chinese phones use that, and surprisingly, like, I asked my friend why didn't they just use a regular micro USB cable because it might save money, and he said, yeah, actually, it's probably just as cheap to make their own cable as it would be to buy somebody else's micro USB cable and package it in the box. So it wasn't a bad phone. It had a full QWERTY keyboard on this little screen. Very, very small. I don't have a... Here's my Motorola Moto 360 for comparison, so it's a little bit bigger of a screen and watch. This was before the Apple Watch. So sometimes this was called like the iWatch, but it's not. It's just the K1 designed as classic famous watches, high clear camera. I have some photos of this camera. If you want to see photos taken on the camera of this, go ahead. But yeah, I could text on this thing. I could type out and actually type out a text with my fingers, not a stylus, thank you very much. And it's one of those older type screens where you actually have to put pressure in the area you want it to be a touch screen, but it was a touch screen. If you want, I'll revisit that in a video sometime. It was cool. I liked it until it started having issues like the microphone went bad. It didn't last super long, sadly. But maybe I could have been a bit nicer to it. I don't know. But the microphone went bad, and so I was stuck to only texting. So the next phone, my first smartphone was an old Samsung, like a really low-end Samsung phone. I don't remember which one it was. And it was my mom's. And then I got it. And then also there was a phone I tried for a while before smartphones that I ended up selling. I should look and see, because I think my account might still be on that phone. And it's not even mine. But what happened with that one is I shipped it out because it had like one of the like track phone I think was listed on the cover, but it wasn't actually track phone. And so it didn't work for the person I sent it to. But they were like, it's okay, don't worry about it. Which was nice. I got like $20 from that. But so this so the first one that I had was a Samsung phone. And I got this right after that. It was started having issues for my mom. And for me too, like Wi-Fi had some slight issues, but the big issue was like not connecting to mobile data right, and sometimes connecting to the actual, like, for calling and stuff, the cell towers. But I was able to sell it to, I sold it to one of, like, the used phone dealers around here. They were nice enough to take it. And I got the Motorola Moto E 2nd generation. I loved this phone. I loved the size. It's nice, fits in my hand, one-handed use, which my current phone is bigger. 5-inch OnePlus X. The new phone I've got, which I'll reveal in a moment, is a bigger 5.5-inch screen. I'm not happy about phones getting bigger, but I'm kind of accepting it. But I liked how it was easy to hold in my hand, because on this one I kind of struggle sometimes to reach with one hand. Not very often do I have to do one-handed use. Just check my time here. So not very often do I have to do one hand, but I have had a few scenarios where I was holding something in my other hand, and I had to stretch my thumb over so that I could tap my mom's icon and give her a phone call. But not a bad phone. I like the size, had an FM radio. No camera flash. There was one thing I didn't like about this phone. Size, FM radio. One of my favorite things was this. If you go like this, the camera opens up, made it nice and easy. But yeah, I'm filming on the nice camera that you guys are on right now, so I use that one way more now. And then after that, eventually I ended up getting the OnePlus X. Let me take it out of its case, show you in all its glory. This is a repaired OnePlus X. I bought a screen, took it into a store around here called Bad Apple. They got it fixed for me, and it was really, really nice, because the way they held it down, the screen wasn't fitting as nice. And I still don't know what adhesive they use. Like, seriously, I'm curious exactly how they applied the screen on in the first place, if the repairmen don't, like, it would seem like the repairman would have access to the same stuff that the company used, maybe. Maybe not machine, but, like, access to the same type of glue. But with the adhesive, they held it down. It wasn't super good. They said, if you want to bring it back and we'll try again, we can. So I did some research, and I found B6000 is used, and we had some E6000 in the garage, and it looked like the difference between them is that the B6000 is slightly more biased towards glass. Like, it had glass listed first, and some of the things that E6000 is supposed to stick together weren't listed on B6000, but it was so similar that I took our really old tub of E6000 in, our little tube. I took it in and said, try this, and they were happy to try it again for free, and they got my screen put back on, and I put a protector on right after that, and I liked it. So if you go to a repair shop, you might suggest they use that, or buy some and request that, like, could you please use this on my phone? Because a lot of repair shops use it. Or they use hot melt glue, like hot glue that you like use for crafts, which seems a little bit odd. And there are like apparently different strengths of hot melt glue, but I couldn't find much about that online, and so I gave up. But E6000 or B6000. This phone, OLED screen, FM radio. Those were my two requirements for my upgrade from this phone, and it meet those two perfectly. I was a little bit disappointed when the FM radio couldn't record the radio, and the OnePlus radio app has been a little bit buggy lately, although I haven't used it a lot, as much as I thought I would. I still like it. Kind of, yeah, it's nice to have sometimes. And it's also like you can't tune manually, it automatically picks up stations, and that's what you get. So I'm guessing, this is just a guess, there's a slight possibility that maybe like you could still hear something, and if you listen closely enough to the static, pick up. But it's not enough that it thinks it's a viable station, and so you're missing something, maybe. I don't know for sure. I can't test that. But it's stuck on that app. I was asking online and didn't find much info on the OnePlus forums, but OnePlus, if you don't know who they are, so back when my phone came out, it was like $240, really good deal. Their most expensive phone, they only had two out at the time. It was the OnePlus 3 going for $350, and that phone was as good as the current generation $700 Samsung flagship. They make budget flagship killers. Look them up, they're cool. I'm not going to babble on anymore about them for now, but we are stuck with that. I think there's maybe a possibility to root the phone and allow access to the FM radio, but I don't know, I didn't do that, but I loved it. It was a great phone, a little bit bigger than what I wanted, but great. So I'll start unboxing this. And one more thing about FM radios. If you're not familiar, most, like the Bluetooth chip that's in pretty much every phone, has FM radio stuff on there. But a lot of manufacturers choose not to enable it. And part of that's because they don't want to, but part of it also is because of cost, because you have to include some of the other stuff in the phone to make that work properly. And so they don't, and I kind of understand why. I wish more phones did that, and this phone doesn't have it. So when I looked at upgrading, my requirements were an OLED screen, FM radio, which OLED screen, FM radio, fingerprint reader. Some phones that met those requirements. Oh, and it kind of had to be somewhat newer to kind of get the latest update for Android. If not the latest, it had to be Android Oreo, at least. Or maybe one version behind. Because I think this is on Android 6. Let me double check really quickly what my X is running. There's no more updates for the X. It's, settings. So, and I've had this for several years. My original plan was to go until this phone died. 6.0.1. So at least Android 7 for my new phone. So my plan was to go till this died, but it only has 16 gigs of storage, and it does have expandable storage via an SD card, but the issue is it's great for pictures and music, but apps. Android, there are plenty of apps that can be moved to the SD card. You're moving the data over, mostly. The core app, I believe, stays on main memory, so you still run out of room. And I found out something that I was kind of surprised, but made sense when I found it out, is if you have an app that's been moved over to the SD card, and then you need to uninstall it and reinstall it to get something working again, but your main internal storage doesn't have any more room, then you're not going to be able to reinstall it, and you're going to have to remove some of your other stuff. So the big thing was storage was an issue. That's the big thing why I upgraded. It's a bigger storage, too, as well. Put that to the side. Ooh, we got a case, with silver buttons on the side. He said he was including 2 cases with this. Ooh, one of these cases, okay. I've got a case on the way because I need a wallet case for my new phone, which, end of suspense, OnePlus 5. Now, I was looking at some other phones, and stock Android was kind of sort of a requirement. Here's another case. This is just like the regular pop-in type case, I think. Although it does have a more solid side than some of the other oh, no. No, okay, so this does have the... Does it? Nope. Oh, it looks like it does have a rim. Okay, so cool. I'll rock one of these till my other case comes. So I wanted kind of sort of... How many are we doing on time? We're 13. We're good. Okay. So I wanted something kind of stock Android like OnePlus. There's 90% stock. They do add some useful tweaks on top of Android, stuff that I actually like. Like I can't show you because let me demo this really quickly, and then I'll pull up my brand new phone. I need to find a song that I know is okay. Let's see, artists, because I know there's one that would be totally fine. Dang it. K, I'm looking for K. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. J, K, oh, Kevin. Tracks. Okay, here we go. So I'm playing some Kevin MacLeod right now. So look at this. Pause the Kevin MacLeod. Play music. Next song. Previous song. Pause again. They have gestures. Hopefully I was in shot. And I opened up the camera by drawing an O. There also is built-in Android the double tap on the home button, which I might start using because it's probably faster than the O, about as fast as this maybe. And there's one more where you draw a V to turn on the flashlight, but I stopped using that because the flashlight would randomly turn on. I might try that again on this phone. So they add useful stuff on top of Android, which is what I like. And they support rooting too. Like on their website they have stuff about how to root it. Wow. Big phone. Huge. Oh my goodness. How am I going to one-hand this? I should have brought a charge cable up. It's probably in the... I don't have a... Oh, I do have a brick with the phone. Dang, that's big. Oh, I like the feel of this. It's metal back, I think. Yeah. And I almost went with the 5T. The 5T is like massive 6 point whatever, 2 inches. This is just 5 inches. 5.5, sorry. And also a better camera. And I originally was against having a good camera because I always have that with me, always. If I don't, then I forgot my important everyday carry bag. Get this booting up here. But, what's the... but then I realized I shouldn't be as against it. Because, like, all I really use my smartphone camera for is picture my work schedule or a picture of something that I just want to show someone later and then delete it. It's gone, you know? Ooh, booting up, yeah. So it, but then I realized, actually, if I have a good smartphone camera, it can be a secondary camera. So if I'm using that one, and I need a secondary camera for 2 angles for something, I can do that. The thing that comes to mind is, I don't know if I'm actually going to do this, but I thought of like doing like some pranks on people, you know, some people that like go in public place and they record videos of them pranking people. I thought of some stuff like that. Nothing super mean, so I might, but let's go. They have Chapter 11 from The Wonderful Wizard of Oz for selecting my font. OnePlus Slate. Roboto. Let me show you guys. Come around here. I can't tell a difference. But, so right now we are on the Roboto font. Changing font. And it says recommended. Huh, is it not actually changing? There we go. I'm going to go with what they recommend. Okay, I don't know. Not a big difference for me, but I'll go with what they recommend. Why not? OnePlus does some nice stuff. Join our user experience program. In order to improve product design and enhance user experience, OnePlus will analyze general statistic data about how you use your phone. Sure. Yeah. I'm okay with that. There's not much that I have to hide. But, I want to say, let me put my screen back up so you can see what I'm doing. But, at the same time, though, I do recognize this, I forget who it was, but there's this guy who has this, it's like a poem, where he says, like, they came after the Jews, and I wasn't a Jew, so I did nothing. And then they came after this other group, I wasn't part of them, so I didn't do anything. I think gay's in there somewhere, they came after gay people. Or, no, I don't think gay's in there, but they came after all these groups. I wasn't part of them, so I did nothing. And then they came after me. And there was no one left to defend me. So, the point of that is, if you're not, like, part of a group, if you're not super against something, you might still want to take a side. And just because, what's the word? Yeah, because then you want somebody who will be like, this guy helped us, let's help him. You need to have somebody to defend your view. Ooh, sounds like my mother's home. So, yeah, let's go on with this. So I'm going to agree to that. I'll talk, if I haven't already talked about it, I'm going to talk about it later. Ooh, insert SIM card. This is the switch, guys. This is the SIM tool in here, because I don't have a SIM tool on me. This is the point where I sort of become, not, yes, sim tool, where I kind of sort of become slightly disconnected from the world for a little bit. Like, I am pro-connected all the time. I'm not, like, always on my phone doing stuff, but I want people to be able to reach me 90% of the time. That's why I have a smartwatch. So when I'm at work, I can see, like, who's calling and know, or who's texting especially. I have custom text tones, but I can see, oh, it's mom texting. Oh, this is kind of important. I should text my mom back. It's for that reason. You know, I'm going to do a video on this at some point. Okay, SIM tray is up here. I wish they would have had expandable storage via SD card. Like, is it really that hard to add? They do have dual SIM, but it is not SD card. It's not SIM card and SD, or SIM card and SIM card. It's just SIM card and SIM card, which is a bummer. This does have 128 gigs of storage, so that should be plenty of room for all my apps, including the ones that I had to uninstall to make room for the important apps. So that's done. Copy data. Connect to our house network here. 1 second. I liked a lot of things about, oh, that was the other reason too, that I ended up specifically going with OnePlus is, I can show you right now really quickly, there is a thing where, on my other, I think it's on all OnePlus phones. If it's not, I'm going to be annoyed. But if I tap on, see in the corner where it says the date, and then it has an alarm next to it. So if I tap on the time, it will take me to my time and date settings. If I tap on the date, it will take me to my calendar. And if I tap on... if I tap on the, what's the word? Oh, if I tap on the alarm, it takes me to my alarm app. So I use those as kind of like having shortcuts to those on my home screen, but not, because my home screen is filled up. Let's set up, and I hope it copies over a lot more, because I'm going to put this in a case, because this is slippery, and I'm going to drop it if I don't. So I'm going to put this into this. Ooh. This looks like Caseology. I'm going to do this one with the silver buttons. So that's one reason why I stayed with OnePlus, is because of that. I'm going to put this into a case so that I don't drop it, because I was about to. When I first got my OnePlus X, it was really slippery, and I dropped it a lot. A lot. Okay. Adds a bit of bulk, but I'm okay with that. No, say CECR at GM. Yeah, oh, so the thing I was going to say too is I have booted up this phone recently to use it for something, and I noticed that it said backup settings and app data and stuff natively in Android, and I'm like, yes, that's something I want. So hopefully it does that, and it pulls all my stuff over, like all of it, like the levels on this one game. If that doesn't, I will try other ways. I almost rooted my X. I thought about it because there's an app that lets you back up where your home screens are and all that cool stuff. And I kind of, sort of thought that would be nice. But nope, I agree. We're adding this account now. Checking my info. What am I doing on time? Let me actually come up and get a close-up read. I'm probably going to cut in a minute here. This is just basic Android setup. 29:38. So I'm just going to let the camera go till it has to stop recording. That's when it's done. E105. Oh, phooey. I might have to do a little bit of editing to stitch these two together. One thing I forgot to mention that's kind of important, that's kind of a concern, is being stuck at 128 gigs. That's pretty big, but I do have an ever-expanding music library. I'm not like high-quality audio file type. I have trouble telling the difference. That's for another topic, another video. But currently I have like 3-point-something gigs in MP3 files on my phone. SIM card, or SD card, sorry, as well as backup on my computer. I have all my music that I like in MP3s that I've purchased. A little bit of pirating from several years ago, just a little bit. And I use MP3 VO, so they're really small. And basically what that does is, like, what a lot of people would say is the highest quality MP3 is 320 kilobits, and that's across the whole song. But MP3 VO, basically, if there's a more quieter part of the song with less instruments playing, it doesn't use the full 320 kilobits for it, so it helps you save space. But it's going to get a little bit bigger once I start. What I want to do is add the lyrics to all my songs, because the music app that I use, Black Player, I love it. It has a little thing you can click on to view lyrics if they're embedded into the MP3 file. So I want to do that to my music collection at some point. So there is the worry that I might run out of space as far as music goes, maybe, eventually. I'm not sure. I might. I am at just 3-point-something gigs, so not too worried, but that's something just to keep in mind, think about for the future, you know, which is kind of why I wish I had expandable SD card storage, but I'm not too mad about that. But there's that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in whatever's next. Hopefully you enjoyed this to shake it up a bit. And just to say again, in case you missed it, I mentioned last video, I think, or a few videos ago, I'm going to be doing a candy trying video coming up here, hopefully soon with a few friends. So hopefully I get that going, because I want it to be more than just airborne death masking, and let's talk. Bye! This is what happens when you don't script a video, you forget stuff, you know? And this is even worse because I haven't spent a few weeks practicing what I'm going to say. Final thing I need to say is, so with the case that I'm ordering, it's going to be kind of like this case here, where I can snap it open. It's got money slots. Not quite big enough for US bills, but the phone isn't quite big enough. I think this one is big enough for US bills because it's a bigger phone. So the new case that I ordered is basically just this half of the money part, and that's it. I'm a little bit bummed that I could not find, I looked high and low, random internet websites, Google, like some Google searching, Amazon, and eBay for a case like this for my phone, and all I could find, the best I could find was this half of it, with I think it's 3 card slots, and one of them is this windowed one and the money slot. I'll make do, but if anybody finds a case just like this one that has 2 sides for money and cards, and it's a case like this, let me know, and I will straight away buy that for my phone, even though I got the other one coming. Okay. This is it. We're done.